Hello there, sleepy people. How are you doing? We are making a veterinary hospital today. It's going to be a pretty large footprint in any park, but I think it ultimately looks really good, when we see the finished product. Right here, we're adding some stone bricks as the base. If you know me, it's kind of my bread and butter. Doing some kind of stone for the base and then having a different material on top. I believe this is like some kind of metal planking or something, and we have that going around the building. It's kind of the least interesting part to talk about, at least. We're doing any build just because it's like, well, this is a wall. This is the base. Right here, I'm kind of starting to work on, like the base of a barn that we're doing. You'll kind of see the idea that we go for a little bit later here. We're adding a fence there. I kind of jump back and forth, but I'm a little bit more concise as the build goes on. So here we have some Australia planks. I'm gonna color them dark gray, black, I don't know. Just the whole building is a little bit more like, hey, kind of don't look in this direction. We add some barn doors here. I ended up replacing them. I didn't realize that there was kind of some better ones. There we go, that's where I find it there. Like, oh, that's easier space-wise. So, you kind of get the gist here. With the veterinary hospital, we need a little area where animals can rehabilitate. So, in the back there, we have a barn. We'll have like a little bit of grassy area. Here, we're working on two enclosures, I don't know how to describe it. One side will kind of be more for like smaller animals, similar to like raccoons and like foxes, stuff like that, where they can hide out. I'm making a kind of little tunnel here where animals can get to their sleeping place at night. That's more watched by the vets. And then like to the outside area where they can hang out, start to rehabilitate and stuff, get used to, being in a natural environment again. If you see like a lot of vet shows, or it's not vet shows, but more like conservation shows, you'll see stuff like this. I had just a 3D piece here, color it black, and hope that it kind of looks like a hole there. You can't see inside because it's shaded. Then I just copy and paste this to the other side. Like I said, one side's going to be more for like raccoons, foxes, and stuff. One's going to be more of a raised one, where you have like more primates and stuff, maybe birds, I don't know, or arboreal animals. You'll kind of see how that ends up looking. End up raising the tunnel on the left a little bit later on, but that's not important at the moment because we don't see it. We're doing some window frames, just anything that like breaks up the monotony of the walls and makes the whole place look a little bit better. I think the next build I really want to mess around with maybe not having such like a square or rectangular footprint for a building, but for this one it at least made sense, and it's a little bit more dynamic by the end. So you kind of see me lining up all these panels here. I think I just add like another sideways one on the side there because I'm like, oh fuck it, like I can't, there's not a piece small enough. It'd be nice if there was like maybe like individual ones that you could find, but that'd be a lot of pieces to add into the game, so I get it. am I working on here? Oh yeah, I'm starting to add the roof. I had like a dream, not a dream, but like I was laying in bed last night and I'm like, did I close off the roof? Is there just an open spot somewhere? And I'm almost certain I didn't leave an open spot somewhere. We'll see, I guess. I think I covered the front. Oh, I hope. This is kind of what I'm talking about. It's a little bit more dynamic. Like I have more of a diagonal opening to this barn. I add like kind of this 3D piece. I had a tough time aligning it. So I'm like, I'll add other roof pieces first and then figure it out. These are the, oh man, slates, I think. I think it's a slate roof. And then that's just like the end pieces for the slates. I add some planks that are basically just the same as the fence pieces to finish that up there. Later on, I'll find like a fence piece where I'm like, oh, that's perfect little fucking gate there. I love it. So we'll probably add that later. Oh yeah, look at that. See, covered. Perfect. No more stress. All right, what am I working on next? I think I'm thinking the same thing. I'm like, what do I... There's like so many like little things to do and I don't want to like forget anything. So I start working on the kind of little stable area of the barn. And this can hold like up to 2 animals and kind of just stay there for the night so they don't have to stay inside. Later on we'll add like little clipboards and stuff. I like the little clipboard, honestly, especially for this build. It's kind of perfect. Let's see, we just have like kind of an open gate. Just adjust the things to make it look a little bit different. And then this is where we start adding the flare, you know, just things. If you watched the last Planet Zoo video, just kind of, you know, making the build look a little bit more in motion. You know, we have maybe some feed bags coming in and have the hose and the buckets, obviously, that we need for like cleaning the stables and any pallets that the food may have came in. And oh, sorry, that's my ankle. If you heard that, I'm so sorry. Added some bedding there. Obviously, it's not going to be used, but there's a few like habitat things that just are aesthetic for this. Add the window frames for the barn. Kind of regret not adding a lattice here, mainly because I fucking love lattices. I'm such a sucker for those in builds. They're perfect for covered bridges, but I used a fence piece there, just so nothing would stick their head out. And then I decided to extend the fence out because I'm like, oh, you know what? Kind of be nice to have a little covered viewing area for the vets as well, to look in on the, you know, more like herding animals. You know, this isn't live, so I could cut that out, but you know, I couldn't be bothered. Start adding the fence for the herding animals. Again, nothing like super fancy. It's just you know, like it doesn't have to be livable for any animals in the game. It's not going to be like an actual exhibit or habitat. It's just something that's like, if you want like a little bit of extra storytelling in your park, it'd be a fun little addition, you know? And these will all my builds end up going on, all of these builds I should say, end up going on the Steam workshop. So if you want to download those, go ahead and enjoy them. This is where I start working on the 2 little holding cages, I guess. It's the best way to put it. You see the ones, like the one in the front's more raised. And kind of like more inspired by like Orangutan Jungle School, I think. Like seeing like their kind of cages. Or like sleeping cages. I'm just adding now fence pieces, and this is where I'm like, oh, there's so many cool fence pieces. Why Why didn't I ever notice these? And that's when I'm like, oh yeah, that looks like a perfect little gate there, so... You know, sometimes it's just like continuing your build and then being like, oh shit, this is perfect. This was such a pain in the ass to like align and everything, and then I copied it over, except I didn't copy it over. I just moved it and forgot to copy it. And by the time I realized it, I had pretty much finished the other side, so I didn't want to, you know, delete all of that to get the one side back, so I had to redo it. We'll see that in a bit. At I think these are just wood log roofs or whatever. I think they're great just for if you need a nice simple roof. I'm measuring the door frame against the door there, so that I can make just a simple cage door. You know, it's nothing fancy, but if you look at it, you're like, oh yeah, that could be a door, I guess. You know, just don't look too closely. Yeah, this is me struggling once again to select everything with my keyboard. Then I technically couldn't copy everything back over because I'd adjust it for the new height. So I couldn't just like copy and paste the second side back to the first side, so it's like, fuck. That just happens sometimes, you know, you just gotta be like, alright. This piece disappeared, like there's a bottom metal railing, I guess, that just disappeared, and I cannot figure out for the life of me where it went. So yeah, it's still there. I didn't add it back on camera. I did it like before I did the beauty shots, because I was like, where the hell did this go? The same thing happened to my last build. Just one random piece disappeared, but knowing me, I probably copied it somewhere and didn't, like, you know, save it. Guess I should just say moved it somewhere. And just make like a 4-sided frame for that door. Yeah, I was really struggling with that. I only like ended up keeping, I think, 2 or 3 pieces when I copied that over, but I don't know. I think it was enough to keep my sanity there. And then I just added, I'm like, it looks a little like plain, just going right into the fence there. So I just added a simple, like little planks to go around. Here we're just moving the roof over so we can start adding the slate edges around the wooden roof there too. And this is just, you know, where it's starting to look a lot more complete now. Adding a wooden frame under the slate edges as well, turning that a dark gray. Trying for like each of my builds not to, like, you know, do the same thing. Like I didn't want to do another eco-conscious build right away. It's after the last one, so I thought this was kind of perfect, like you know, tucked away. Don't look at this part of the park where animals can heal and get back to their normal selves. I add another door frame to the front there because I'm like, oh, you know, it makes sense to have the ability for vets to get in there from the front. And then just for texture, I add some kind of wood vertical planks. I don't know what they're called. I still don't know what they're called. Just around the you know, fenced in herd area. Add some buttons here for the animal release. And now we're just you know, making the cages look nice. We have like an empty sack there because apparently orangutans just love those things. You know, some bananas. And then we just start adding the hose and everything, buckets, anything that like you would need to feed and clean the animal cages back here, you know? Okay, so I add the light there, add another light above the front door, and just a simple string light in the barn. Just something to illuminate it at night. start adding some grass. I don't know what type of grass this is, but I thought it was kind of just the perfect little covering. Add some flowers in there just to break it up a bit. Then I know this is elephant grass, so I add this along the wall and along the back fence just to, you know, give them a little bit more of a natural background as opposed to just wall, zoo, you know. We start working on the bigger of the two cages. You see I add boxes behind some goldenrod. I think this is kind of perfect for, like, again, like raccoons, foxes, so they can like nest and hang out and have like a place where they can be private and safe and during the day, because they're nocturnal creatures, you know. You're not gonna want them running around a bunch during the day either. Add some tree branches for climbing, and then just some more grass and stuff. Forget what this type of grass is, to be honest with you. And some leaf litter around the bottom. Just cleaning up the goldenrod edges there. Now I add some branches for the arboreal cage here. I probably could have added more, to be honest with you, but I don't know. Sometimes less is more, right? Like you don't want to like go overboard with things, and then you look at it and you're like, wow, this is a little busy. I had these kind of bushes because they kind of look like branches that have been cut off for feeding, you know, like they're, so I kind of just put them to the side there and through the bottom handles, a little box up top there for them to play with. It doesn't need to be perfect because it's like, you know, they're not living there. It's temporary arrangements so they don't get stir crazy. So, oh my god, it's missing there. That piece is missing. Wild. I add some food bowls and some water troughs and bowls and whatever to each of the habitats, cages, whatever. But yeah, again, it doesn't need to be like the perfect space. It just needs to be a good space where they can heal and have room to heal, but like the vets can still monitor them and like bring them in, and you know, because you also don't want to like have them in their full habitat and be like, well, tomorrow again I have to take them for blood work, and I don't want to have to, you know, run around their habitat again to do this. Add some hanging plants. While I'm talking about all this, I'm just adding some planters to the front here. Kind of go with these nice lower plants. And then I forget, these are alpine something, the bigger purple ones. They're nice. I'm just kind of doing that along the front. And we just adjust these goldenrods, and then we're heading into the beauty shots. So I hope you have a fantastic day and enjoy.